Good morning. It is Vlogmas Day 18. We are 3/4 of the way through Advent, but I am not 3/4 of the way through my scarf. Having said that, I feel like I'm at least holding my own. I finished day 14 and have added in day 15. So it is coming along for sure. Let's see if I can get a, see, I can't fit it all in one shot anymore. Fun, fun, fun. So let's find out what today's package holds. Ooh, yesterday had sort of teal and green and gray, and today's takes a different turn with some gold, brown, and kind of a light tealy aqua color. It probably looks gray, or I think it looks gray in the screen, at least at the moment, but it does have some green in it. You can see the mountains entirely today, although it is not sunny. It is cloudy, but right now I'm enjoying a mountain view right out this window. When I finish this part, I'll just turn it around and give you a look. Anyway, so not exactly keeping up, but I'm not getting any further behind. I am managing to sort of work in a color a day. And who knows, maybe over the weekend I'll get a chance to do a little catch up. I've done a little bit on my Advent socks. While I was editing the regular podcast episode, I was able to knit a couple stripes on this one. And I finished the navy on this one, and I started the gray. I worked on it a little bit in the car last night, but it was just too dark to see, especially since I had like black needle cords. That wasn't really happening. I had to turn on the light a few times just to see if I had dropped a stitch. So I finally said, okay, I'm going to put that away. So when we go up to pick up my mom on Monday, I'll have lots of knitting time in the car. So I have a feeling these will be coming with me. Depending where they are, maybe I'll even be able to take my scrappy socks. So we'll see. It all depends on what I get done over the next few days. As for today, I am turning my attention to Barbie clothes. I have this pattern here. I'd ordered a second pattern. It says it's supposed to be delivered today, but it doesn't say it's out for delivery, so I'm not holding my breath. And so I'm just going to rely on that. And then look at these fun shoes. So I will try and match up some of the fabrics to some of these shoes. Not that Emily will really care, but I care. And then I am expecting my son to come over sometime this morning to serve as a foot model or a slipper trier honor, as I felt my brother-in-law's slippers. So by the end of the day, I should get something accomplished. We have to leave here at about 5:45 to go out for dinner. So I've got a few hours ahead of me. I can get something done. Wish me luck. And there's today's mountain view. You can see there's some new snow on the mountains. I wish you could see my camera setup. It is on top of a dresser, on top of a Kleenex box. I just heard from Colin, so he's going to be over in about 40 minutes. So I am going to start the felting process. So I just wanted to give you one last look at the slippers before they get shrunk down. The first step I'm going to do is to soak the slippers in cold water. What I have learned in felting over the last couple of years, I guess, with my front load washing machine is that they seem to respond well to going back and forth from cold to hot water. It shocks the little fibers on the little scales on the wool, So they kind of shrink when they're cold and then they expand when they're warm. And so throughout the process, I will alternate back and forth between agitating them in the hot washer and then throwing them into this bucket of cold water. And that seems to speed up the filtering process. So I'll just get those wet, let them soak for a couple minutes, and then I'll load them into the washing machine for their first cycle through. Alright, now that those have soaked for a couple of minutes, I'm going to dump this whole bit into the washing machine, which I cannot do one-handed, so I will not film it. I don't know how well you can see, but I've also thrown a couple of pairs of old jeans in there, along with the wet slippers. So let's close that up. I'm going to add just a little bit of wool wash. I've got some Eucalyptus here. I'll add just a touch of wool wash. Should be lots. And then I'm going to set my washer on, I think I did it normal last time. Do as hot as I can and as fast as I can. And then basically after it kind of gets to just through the first wash cycle, I will come down, take the slippers out, dump them back into the cold water. So let's let them go through their first wash. I have stopped the washing machine before it can go into a spin cycle. And so you can see that the slippers are beginning to felt. They're a little bit fuzzier. The stitches are a little bit felted together starting. And so what I'm going to do now is put these back into the cold water, soak them for a minute or so, and then I'm going to throw them back in and start my hot wash cycle all over again. It's only been maybe 5 to 10 minutes, probably 10 minutes since I put them in the first place. And here's how they look after another wash cycle. They're definitely getting smaller, but they're still kind of floppy. So I'm going to put them into cold water and do one more cycle. So this is what they look like after 2 more sort of 5-minute intervals. So I don't think they're quite ready, but I am going to get my son to try them on just to make sure, but I think they still have another cycle or 2 to go. As I suspected, they're still a bit too big, so I'm going to throw them in for probably another 1 or 2 5-minute intervals, and we'll see how they are after that. So I put them in for 3 or 4 extra sort of 5-minute cycles, and I think they're going to be good, but I'm going to get Colin to try them on one more time. They're a little small for Colin, so they should be perfect for Joe. I've rolled the slippers up in some old towels, and now I'm stepping on them to get as much of the water out of them as possible. There, now you can get a better look. Colin said if he knew he was going to be on video, he would have waxed his legs. Anyway, you can see most of the stitches have disappeared, especially in the garter stitch section. They're a little bit more noticeable in the stockinette section from the upper. My top loader definitely did a better job than my front loader does, but you know, it's adequate. It used to be that the soles didn't look quite so wavy like that, but I got as much water out of them as I could and have kind of shaped them. You can manipulate them a little bit while they're wet. And now this is just a thread end. I'll snip that once everything's all dry. So now I've got them sitting here in front of the heat register, and hopefully they'll be dry within a few days. I'll just keep turning them over, and shouldn't take too long to dry. So there, the felting of the slippers is done. And while the slippers were being felted, I dragged my box of fabric scraps up to the kitchen. I think I have a few more that are kind of rustier fabrics in this one, so I'll be able to maybe make, you know, an evening gown or two. These are mostly cottons. I used to work at a fabric store, and at that time I had boxes and boxes of either fabric scraps or lengths to be made into things. And when I finally got rid of most of it, I just mostly kept like cottons and polycottons. And then over the years, I've gradually just thrown other fabrics in here. So I'm going to start going through my boxes and match up fabrics to some of the garments on the Barbie pattern now.